Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I, Sakshi Singh, welcome you all in this session organized by Indian Research Scholars Association. And today's session is on the topic of the art of writing in a social sciences. Today, our guest speaker, sir, is Professor B.B. Mohanty, sir. And sir is a professor at Department of Sociology in Pondicherry University. And today we have a coordinator of the session, is a Vikash Kumar sir from Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak, and and convener Papi Halder, ma'am, from Lucknow University, and co-convenor me, Sakshi Singh, from the Banaras Hindu University. Along with me, Rifa Tabbussum, ma'am, she is from Aligarh Muslim University. And today's organizing secretary is Madhusudhan sir from Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak. Now I would like to invite Vikash sir for the welcome speech. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sakshi madam. First of all, I would like to welcome our speaker, Professor B.B. Mohanty sir. Sir has selected a very relevant topic for the research scholars. I would like to welcome the organizing team of the entire organizing team of this particular lecture series. I would like to welcome the convener Papi Halder and energetic co-convener Madam Sakshi, my younger brother Madhusudhan Mukul, and I can see on the screen today's many professors and faculty members had joined from the various universities. I can see on the screen to Professor Udebhan Singh sir. Udebhan sir has joined from the Central University of the Himachal Pradesh. So I would like to welcome to Professor Udebhan sir. Some scholars had joined from the out of the India. I can see on the screen Isan Ullah Himmat has joined from the Afghanistan, and Mujahada has joined from the Tajikistan. So on the behalf of me and on the behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association, I would like to welcome on in the core of my heart and in the depth of my heart to all the participants, including our organizing team, and uh, I would like to most welcome to our today's learned speaker, to Professor B.B. Mohanty sir. And I would like to thanks and welcome to Professor Ananta Kumar Giri sir, the person who has suggested the name of the Professor B.B. Mohanty sir. So I will not take more time because my job is limited. So again, I would like to request to Sakshi ma'am for the further proceeding. Over to you, Sakshi madam.
विकास जी
Thank you,
लगभग
sir.
6-7 विकास जी लगभग 6-7 रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स
Okay.
केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय हिमाचल प्रदेश धर्मशाला से जुड़े हुए हैं आपके साथ अभी।
Okay. Most welcome to the all research scholars who have joined from the those who have joined from the Central University of the Himachal Pradesh. Thank you so much for joining today's session. Over to you, Sakshi ji.
Okay, sir. Now I would like to call Madhusudhan sir. Sir, please say a brief introduction to our guest speaker, sir.
Thank you, Sakshi ma'am, and thank you, Vikas sir. This is Madhusudhan Mukul, a research scholar from Department of Political Science, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak. I'm welcoming sir. Sir is currently a professor and dean at Department of Sociology, Pondicherry University. Sir has obtaining his Ph.D. from Sambalpur University, Odisha. He worked for a brief period in undergraduate colleges of Odisha. Subsequently, he moved to Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics, Pune, where he served as a lecturer and the reader. He joined Pondicherry University as a professor in 2006. His recent books include Agrarian Change and Mobilization, published in Sage, A Critical Perspective in Agrarian Transition, India in the Global Debate, which is published in a Routledge, and Agrarian Transformation in Western India, Economic Gains and Social Cost, that is published in Routledge. Currently, sir, he is the managing editor of the Sociological Bulletin. Apart from this, more than 7 research guidance he has done, more than 27 plus teaching experience sir has. They worked in several projects, and the most important things as they have the more than 30 eminent publication under his. So today we are incredibly fortunate to have Professor with us to share insight on how to write a research paper. So we are very energetically looking for the enlightening and thought-provoking session. Thank you, sir, and welcoming Baby Mohanty, sir.
So, okay, thank you. Just now I can see on the screen Professor P.S. Pawar sir had joined this lecture. I think sir is senior professor in the Shivaji University, Kolhapur. So, sir, you are most welcome in this session. Over to you, Sakshi ji.
Now, sir, platform is yours. We are waiting for the valuable lecture. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Just
Thank
give me 1 minute time. I'll set my PowerPoint slides. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
So is it visible?
No, sir.
Okay, wait.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. I am thankful to Indian Research Scholars Association and especially Mr. Vikash and Ms. Sakshi Singh for giving me this opportunity here to share my views and ideas with the young research scholars mostly, and some of the senior faculty are also here. I am unable to see them, but some of the names which was actually mentioned to me, I hope I have met them somewhere. Anyway, but this is online presentation. It's difficult to meet in person, and thank you also, Ms. Sakshi Singh, for your kind introduction, and Mr. Madhusudhan for your kind introduction. I want to correct it, the small error, that I am not the dean now. I am no longer the dean. My deanship is over. I am simply a professor of sociology at Pondicherry University. So now we'll come to our topic. As it was mentioned by Mr. Vikash, that I will be speaking on the art of writing in social sciences. I am basically a sociologist. So, when we write in sociology or anthropology, political science, we don't follow any kind of disciplinary boundary. It's all, when we come to research writings, it is all interdisciplinary. So sometimes our disciplinary training influences us, but when we write something and publish something, it is for the general audience or especially for the social science audience. If you are writing in some professional journals, then it is for the discipline specific kind of people or allied disciplines. Or if you are publishing something in general kind of forums like newspapers or some periodicals or magazines, those are for the general public. So anyway, I will come to, there are some general principles and general steps and general kind of rules which we follow in academic writings, which usually, there is, if you ask me, what are the ready-made steps, there is nothing a kind of specific guideline or specific formula which you can follow and quickly you can come up with a kind of publication. There is nothing like that you press a button and you will come out with a kind of paper. So it is entirely based on your experience and your reading, your writing skill, all these things. But there are some basic principles, basic guidelines one must keep in mind and one must follow it, and that will actually make the process easier. So now I'll begin with this thing, the fundamental question: what is academic writing? When we are writing as academicians, we write monographs, we write journal articles, we write book chapters. These are the actually writings which are largely research based. When we are writing a monograph, a book, or a journal article, or a chapter for an edited book, so these are actually the primary medium through which knowledge produced through research is communicated and discussed. These are all research-based writings. These are all research-based writings, because when we are publishing a paper in a journal, unless it is research-based, no journal will publish it, because they invite only the research-based articles. Similarly, book chapters are also research-based. So academic writings primarily has some kind of roots in research. It is developed or it is produced through research, and we want to communicate our research findings or our knowledge which is produced through research with the wider kind of scientific community and also with the wider public. So therefore, academic writings are largely published or largely take the form of monographs, journal article, and book chapter. And this is entirely different from other forms of writings. When you are academic writing typically analyzes and discusses a social phenomenon in the light of theoretical concepts and perspectives. When you are writing a paper for the journal or for a book or a monograph, we have to have some kind of theoretical backup or theoretical framework and perspective and some concepts which is specific to the discipline or to the social science disciplines as a whole. So therefore, these writings are actually is a technical writings. It is not for the general public. General public may follow or may not follow some of the things. They may not be able to follow also. Only the people, those who are trained in sociology, anthropology, political science, they can understand or they can follow these writings. So therefore, academic writing is different from general writings. In general writings, actually, when we are writing in a kind of newspaper or in magazines or in other kind of platforms, those are actually not based on any kind of theoretical backup or theoretical insights or some kind of uh, perspectives. That is actually not there. It's a general. So therefore, these academic writings are different from the general writings. And of course, there are some commonalities. There are some commonalities. When you are writing something, whether it is academic writing, whether it is a kind of general writing, it is a kind of we all intend to communicate with the wider publics. In case of disciplinary, in case of academic writings, we want to communicate with the wider scientific community. I am a sociologist. I am writing as a sociologist, and I want to communicate with the sociology at the national level, at the world level. So that is my intention. And also, sometimes also we try to communicate with the wider public. And to be very precise, writing is a kind of craft and a skill that is learned and honed through practice. It is a craft, it is a skill, not that anybody can write or anybody can publish a paper. It requires a different kind of skill, and for that only we need training. We need training. Academic training is given when we are doing master's degree or MPhil or PhD. Through that process, we are trained how to write a research paper, how to write a research article, because it is a kind of a craft. And you know what, for example, if you are trained in a university or in a research institute, that training is not sufficient. You need to develop a kind of a passion for the writing, and it is a kind of a craft which you have to develop through your practice, through your reading, through writing. And you can this is a kind of it is a kind of experience, and it has to be learned and honed. You have to sharpen it and strengthen it over a period of time. It's not that all of a sudden it will come. So it will come through practice. It will come through rigorous practice. And writing is a kind of most difficult job, and it's also most enjoyable job. So once you develop that skill, once you develop that craft, so you will always feel that I have to write something or I have to publish something. This kind of motivation and spirit will always be there once you have developed that skill and craft. So this academic writing or any other form of writing, it's a kind of a craft and skill. Those who are writing in the newspaper, the columnist actually, those who are writing newspapers or those who are writing in various kind of magazines, it depends. It requires a special craft. It's not that any common person can write. You know, somebody may be a good teacher or cannot write in well, or somebody may be a good speaker but cannot write well. So writing is a kind of different skill, and it's a kind of craft. So one has to develop it through experience and through readings. So are you following me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I think PPT is not visible, sir.
Okay, not visible.
Yes, sir, and also it's not moving.
It's visible,
Okay,
sir. Only not
Actually,
moving.
it's visible,
But not moving.
So I will go to the next page. I just
Okay, sir. Sakshi, it's PPT is visible full screen.
sorry.
Vikash ji, PPT is not visible.
PPT.
Yes.
Just 1 minute. Let me set it again.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Now visible but not moving.
No, it will move. Just.
I think sir has joined or the showing PPT with another login ID because it's looking like two option.
Yes.
Ek screen.
Okay. Let me set it.
Yes, sir. Now.
Now it is okay, sir.
No, okay, it must be visible, properly visible. Okay, it's not acceptable.
It is visible,
okay.
sir.
Properly visible.
It's a proper.
Okay.
Visible.
Okay, fine. Oh, just let me see whether it is moving or not.
Yes, sir.
It is not moving, some problem. Just moving. Next. So is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, visible, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. So now we'll come to the next question. Where do research ideas come from? You know, when we are talking about the academic writings, basically it is research-based writings. So where do these research ideas come from? One is critical reading of literature. Critical reading of literature. You know, we must have a kind of habit of reading. Reading not only for the just simple reading. It's a kind of critical reading. You read something, then you question that. You question the author, whose article or whose book you are reading. So it must be a critical kind of reading where you are where you try to find the deficiencies, gaps, or drawbacks of that article or that book. Critical reading is one of the essential element of academic writing, and from there only we can bring research ideas. We can develop research ideas. Unless we read something critically, we cannot develop research ideas. The ideas, because already something is there, how to question it, and from there only we can draw some insights to develop our ideas. Besides reading, sometimes circumstances, experiences, and interaction with people around us also are helpful in developing the ideas. You know, circumstances, you know, for example, when Newton discovered this law of gravitation, he did not read anything relating that circumstances. Something happened, so it came to his mind, then he started actually proving it. So therefore, circumstances, experiences, your personal experience or your group experience, sometimes it may help you thinking or correlating or drawing some ideas after which you may think how to develop it or how to expand it. And when you interact with wider people, with interaction with the faculty, your colleagues, or with your peer group, or even also with some activists, when you are interacting with them, sometimes also some new ideas may come to your mind. It may not be there in the mind of the people with whom you are discussing, but it may come to your mind when you discuss, combining with your experiences or combining with your reading, whatever may be. Then when you interact with somebody, then sometimes you may develop some ideas or some insights how to make it a kind of a researchable topic. And turning ideas to researchable questions, that is the most important thing. You may be having some ideas about certain issues or certain topics, but how to pose questions, you know, unless you have a definite and sharp questions, you cannot investigate it and you cannot develop it further. So you must have very clear kind of research questions. Formulating research questions is the most important thing in research. If your research questions are clear and well formulated, 50% of your research problem is 50% of your research work is over. If your questions are good, if your questions are sharp, if your questions are innovative, then around 50% of your research work is over. So how to turn the research ideas which you have in mind or which you drew from your experience or drew from the interaction with others or from critical reading, how to develop or how to formulate or how to convert into research questions. That is the most important thing. And that actually cannot happen all of a sudden. You can keep on asking questions. In the first round, you may have a dozen of questions or more than that. Then you can sharpen it further, keep on thinking over it, interact with others. Then after that, you can sharpen it further. And you should have some very sharp, focused questions, which is investigatable and which can be researched and which can actually lead to some kind of analysis and some kind of discussion. Then now we'll come to the elements in academic writings. What is this? Just one. Actually, something is missing. This slide actually is not the slide which I want. Anyway, I will tell you. I will tell you that. It is not coming here. Anyway, so before the elements in academic writings, it is not in the slide. That one line is visible. That I have revised, but it's not here. First, actually, no, these things I'm showing analysis, discussion, theory. Analysis, discussion, theory. Before that, you keep in mind 5 basic elements. 5 basic elements. These are these are also the elements, but the fundamental elements are: one is originality, second one is logic, third one is clarity, fourth one focus, and fifth one is coherence. So remember, first one is originality, and second one is logic, and third one clarity, fourth one focus, and last one is coherence. Any writing you are making, whether academic writing or non-academic writing like newspaper writings, other forms of writings, as I told you, their originality is the important things. If it is not original, it will not be accepted. Nobody will take it seriously unless it is original. So originality is required. Originality, any kind of art you can see, any kind of in any profession. If you have originality, then it will be accepted. Whether it's cinema, art, sports, everywhere originality is the matter. So here also we need originality. First important element is that originality. In writing, when you are writing something, it must be original, your own creative ideas. Then the other important element is logic. It must be based on logic. Entire research process is based on logic. Logic is the most important core element of research. If logic is missing, then research cannot actually be accepted. It cannot be scientific. So originality must be actually it must be followed by logic. You must have logical thinking. Then clarity. Whatever you are presenting, you are writing, it must be clear. It must convey the clear. It must have a kind of clarity, and you must clearly express your ideas, which should not be ambiguous, which should not have any other kind of meanings. It must be only one kind of a message, which must be conveying one message which is acceptable uniformly to all, and it should not have a kind of different meanings to different persons. Then it must be focused. Your analysis or your discussion, it must be focused. It must be focused. You cannot say so many things. What you are trying to tell, what are your research questions, as I told you, and based on that you must focus. Your analysis or discussion or theory, whatever, it must be focused on that. Then coherence. Entire writing, whether you write in several pages or few pages, it must be coherent. Each paragraph must actually compel the reader to go to the next paragraph. there must be a kind of a linkage. Automatically, the reader will go to the next paragraph, next page. It will run like a story that once the reader begins with the first sentence, automatically he will go to the next sentence, then next paragraph, next page, till he completes. It will tempt him, or it will motivate him to go through the pages. So therefore, you must have a kind of coherence. It must be completely. You must be proper linkage must be there between the paragraphs and between the pages and among the sentences. So this is the most important thing. And other important element which I did not mention to you is a kind of economization of words. You have to economize your expression. You cannot write actually for a small thing. You can write several pages. The most economical way you have to express. Your expression must be actually in a limited number of words, and the words must be appropriately designed. The words which you use, it must capture the root of the expression. You cannot use any other words actually. Sometimes when we go for the second draft, third draft, we change the words, which we try to see that it must be appropriately worded, or there must not be any other, there must not be a kind of wrong kind of words which are used, which is not appropriate. So we must look for a kind of appropriate word which expresses our ideas in a very proper manner. So therefore, these are the essential elements or core elements in academic writings. As I told you, originality, logic, clarity, focus, and coherence. And all these things actually are important when we go for analysis, discussion, and theory. Analysis, as it is written here, you can follow. A systematic investigation of regularities and patterns in relation to social phenomena and social problems, as well as their causes and consequences. In social science research, we look for regularities and pattern. We look for regularities and pattern in social relationship. And based on that, we try to develop an argument about the significance of the regularities and patterns that have been identified and their causes and consequences, or ways of thinking about this. This is a discussion part. And theory, perspectives and concepts that enable the building of explanations and understanding of regularities and patterns in social phenomena. When we are discovering some patterns or regularities about social relationship, we try to explain them. And when we try to explain them, we look for the theory, available theories, how the available theories can be used to explain it. Because theory is essential in academic writing, not in all writings, and you must be familiar. There are actually two different kind of research. One is qualitative research, another is quantitative research. In quantitative research, we begin with theory, and we go for hypothesis. Then we try to from theory we deduct hypothesis. And from hypothesis, we try to operationalize the hypothesis, collect data, then try to analyze, then come to findings. Again, we come back to theory to validate the theory or to revise the theory, whatever may be. So this is called hypothetical-deductive model in quantitative analysis. But in qualitative analysis, we do not begin with theory. Theory is not important. Their understanding is important. In qualitative analysis, understanding is important. And we try to understand the problem. Theory building is not important. So therefore, in these two kinds of writings, sometimes when it is theory-based writings, when we have kind of made quantitative analysis, so there we have theory, which theoretically based writings. But in other forms of writings, where actually we do not have any theory, when we have a kind of qualitative analysis based on case studies, narratives, or autobiographies. Those are kind of writings that is qualitative based, and their theory is not needed, which ultimately where we try to propose hypothesis. In the end, we can develop hypothesis, but hypothesis testing is not essential there. So anyway, I don't want to spend time more. There will come to the other important aspects. Now we'll come to the structure of academic writing. Now I will focus only on the writings of journal articles, research articles. Research articles, I will focus on mostly on the research articles. When you are writing articles for any journal, whether it is Sociological Bulletin or Economic and Political Weekly or any other foreign journals in political science or anthropology, education, psychology, any journal, we have actually a kind of acceptable structure. For all journals, we have some acceptable structure. Each journal has its own style and they give the guidelines that you have to follow. But this apart, you need to have a kind of a common structure. First, actually, introduction, then the review of literature, theoretical framework, data and methods, analysis, discussion, conclusion. Basically, if you usual target of any journal is that they expect the writers to submit a paper within 8,000 words. Economic and Political Weekly, they encourage that 6,500, around 8,000. 8,000 is a kind of useful target. And beyond that, actually, many journals will be reluctant to publish your article. So it must be around 10,000 words or 8,000 words, not more than that. 6,000 to 8,000 words, actually, that is the usual size. So if it is 8,000 words, then introduction should be of around 800 words, 10%. And review of literature, a theoretical framework, maybe 25%, it may be less also. It is not that there is not a kind of fixed limit. I am telling the approximate kind of a word limit. And data and methods, 5%. Which you have to tell about the methodology. Very briefly you have to tell. Because the longer kind of versions will not be accepted by any journal. Longer versions can be actually put in a book form. If you are writing a book, which is of about 1 lakh words, then you can have a kind of elaborate discussion about literature, about methods, those kind of things. Analysis and discussion, those things you can have an elaborate discussion. But in papers, research papers, your data and methods approximately should be limited to 5% of the word limit. Analysis and discussion, that's a major part of your paper, that should have a word limit of around 50%. And conclusion, like introduction, it should have 10% of the word limit. Now, are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are listening.
Okay. So now we'll come to the introduction part. I will also have some time for discussion. You can tell me wherever there is some gap or something, some doubts you can ask me. So introduction, when you are coming to introduction, here you have to present the topic of the research or discussion, whatever the topic of the research that you have to present very briefly, and tell the reader why it is worthy of attention in relation to a specific academic field. You are doing something, a research on, for example, on poverty alleviation, or on women empowerment, or on caste-related violence, domestic violence, anything you are writing. So you have to tell very briefly the reader why it is important in relation to that field, in relation to gender studies, in relation to agrarian studies, or in relation to development studies. Why your topic is important, why it deserves attention. So that you have to tell very briefly and present the specific context of the research and discussion. What is the broader context of this title of this of your research topic? The broader context you have to tell, and tell the reader how you are going to approach the topic of your research question and why you have chosen this approach. Very briefly, you have to tell that what is your research question and how you are going to approach it, and give the reader an overview of different parts of your essay. No surprise after the introduction. You have to tell the reader that my paper, in the introduction, you have to tell the reader that my paper is divided into 3 or 4 parts, and while first part deals with this, second part deals with that, and third part presents this, or fourth part is a conclusion, whatever may be. So you have to tell about the different parts of the essay or your paper in the introduction, so that after that the reader will not be surprised to see another kind of abrupt section. So you have to tell, in the introduction has to give you an overview of the research paper. Very briefly, you have to tell around 800 to 600 words, 600 to 800 words. You have to tell very briefly about the overview of the research, and where actually you have to tell the context, tell briefly about your research questions, and also tell about the different parts of your paper. And actually, good introduction is short and sweet. Always, actually, introduction, if it is good, then the reader will be tempted or will be motivated to go for the next section. Otherwise, he may say that, no, this paper is not good, I will leave it here. So introduction, you have to make it very sweet and very catchy, and you have to make it very impressive, so that it will encourage the reader to go to the next page or next section. So introduction carries a lot of weightage in any research paper. If introduction is good, then the reader will be impressed, and he will develop curiosity to see the other sections. Now, the next, literature review and theoretical framework. As I told you, theoretical framework is not necessary in each and every paper. So if it is a qualitative kind of based paper, it is based on a kind of narratives, case studies, then you need not have a theoretical framework. You may have also less review of literature. Review of literature means here actually you have to give an overview of the existing research or frontline knowledge about your research topic. The topic actually you have selected or what you are going to discover, what is there remaining, what needs to be discovered, that you have to tell in the review of literature, that these are the studies available, these many studies have done this work, that work, but this is the thing which is, these are the questions or these are the issues are not addressed. So therefore, there is actual need for your research. So you have to see, first you have to tell what is already known, what is already established, and from there you have to tell that these are the things which needs attention or needs investigation, needs to be studied. So then literature review should be connected to help you develop a theoretical framework which can be defined as follows. That is actually literature review should be, when you are actually having a kind of theoretical framework, there also you have to develop a theoretical framework through literature review only. You cannot have just like that. You should have a kind of review of literature, and basically which you can develop a kind of a conceptual perspective set of specific theoretical concepts that are going to guide, inform the analysis, discussion of the theme or a body of empirical data and research findings. In fact, through this review of literature, we will develop a kind of conceptual framework. We also develop theoretical framework if it is required, if it is possible. Otherwise, review of literature simply is done to know what is known, what is established, and what is unknown, what can be pursued further, what can be questioned further, or how new ideas can be discovered from the review of literature. Approximately, review of literature should take 25%, not more than 25%. It can be less than 25%. It can be 10%, 15%, 20% also. It depends. It depends on what kind of literature available, what is the kind of the purpose. Sometimes it happens. I have seen many papers I see because I am the editor of a journal. Review of literature, actually, sometimes people write papers, write that X said like this, Y said like this, Z said like this, M said like this. That is not the review. If it is, review means you must have a kind of critical review, and you need not actually independently, you cannot put one by one, X said like this, Y said like that. You can you can group them together. If there is some commonality, you can group them together and tell that this group is arguing like this and other group is arguing like this. You can do like that. It depends on the purpose of your theme of your research and purpose of your research and objectives. So it's not that X, Y, Z like that. They said 15 reviews are there or 10 reviews are there, then they are all disjointed, disconnected. That is meaningless. Actually, it does not convey any meaning. So it must be having some kind of a purpose where you want to draw something from this review. You want to show that this review actually how you can generate a debate through this review of literature. You can generate a debate that among these studies or among the scholars and try to see that how you can connect this debate with your work and with your analysis. So then data and methods. As I told you, data and methods, it can take 5% of your 5%, not more than that. 5%. That sometimes also, if you are doing something qualitative research or some review-based paper you are writing, somebody is writing on Karl Marx, somebody is writing on Max Weber, somebody is writing on Foucault, Derrida. So they are actually research methods may not be very long kind of things. Very precisely you can tell that. Or whenever you have a kind of large-scale survey, there you have to tell about how you have selected the district, selected the village or selected the samples, and also the statistical tools and techniques or the tools of data collection that you are using. Very precisely you have to tell. And not that actually you have to explain in detail as it is explained in the kind of PhD thesis. That we should not do. How you have gathered data and how you have analyzed them. You can do that. So that is, you should not take more than 5% of the length of the paper. Then we come to analysis and discussion. This is actually a lengthier part of your paper. This is the core of your paper. It should take actually about half of your actually length of your paper. That is about 50% it can take. And it's the most important part of your essay. It is where actually you show your level of academic skill in terms of analyzing and discussing a specific theme, topic, body of your empirical data. Here actually you have to show that how your analysis is important and your discussion and entire body of empirical data you have to present here in a more analytical kind of manner. And here also the analytical discussion in short presents an argument about specific theme, topic, body of empirical data are developed through the application of a theoretical framework. Because here, if you have a theoretical framework, you have to keep in mind that framework, and analysis and discussion also has to be based on that. Make sure your analysis has a clear guiding thread and make sure that you are bringing your reader with you from one part of the argument to the next. Because as I told you, it is the most lengthier part of your paper, and you have to take the reader with you. And that must be a kind of guiding thread, common thread, which is linking the various parts of your analysis. The reader should not feel uncomfortable at any inconvenience at any stage. So when you are building the argument, it must be kind of very coherent, and there must be a logic, and as I told you, there must be a clarity and a focus. So the reader will travel with you with your analysis all through comfortably without any inconvenience. He should not leave you, and he has to go with you. So therefore, this is the most important part of your paper. Of course, every part is important, but this is the core of your paper, and you have to pay more attention and you have to be more careful about this part. Then the conclusion part. And I have to tell you, don't underestimate the power of a good conclusion. Conclusion is the most important part in the sense that here actually you have the last chance to convince the reader that you have a good point. You can tell your readers or tell in the paper This is the last chance. After that, you don't have any chance to express yourself. Here you can tell that I have a point, or whatever you are feeling, that here you can convey it. It is your last chance to convince the reader that you have a good point. So therefore, a good conclusion does have three things. It has actually three things. One is, it tells the reader what you have done. You summarize your argument. First, actually, you summarize what you have done in your analysis, what you have done throughout your paper, that you have to summarize here. Summarize your argument. Then it reflects on the implications of your argument, of how you think about a specific theme or topic. It reflects on the implications of your arguments, how you think about a specific theme or topic. And third, it suggests potentially useful avenues for future research. Research, actually, when you are doing research, it's not that you have completed everything. It is end of everything. Sometimes when you are writing a conclusion, you may not have done, you may not have addressed each and everything. So if something is remaining which you feel important, you can indicate that. So that actually the conclusion will carry, so that it will be useful for the next researcher. Those who are reading the article, they will find that this is something there which we can think of. Then I must tell you about the importance of reading for academic writings. Reading is the most important element. Nowadays, actually, what I find, these younger scholars, actually, they are not prepared to spend time in reading. Something they copy paste, that is not actually correct. You have to spend time for reading and writing. Reading is a kind of you must have a passion to read. Not that actually sometimes you start reading an article, then read few lines, then leave it. That is not correct. You have to read the complete article. If you like the article, you read the complete article. You may not read. You may read number of times, not only one reading. Usually, what I do when I read an article, I go by the author in the first reading, and second reading, actually, I start actually critically looking at the author and what are the deficiencies I try to find out. So the reading means it is a mapping of your research topic theme. You are familiarizing yourself with the existing knowledge about the phenomenon you want to research. Through reading, you are familiarizing yourself with the existing knowledge. For example, you have decided about a topic, you have decided about a theme, and you have come to a conclusion that I will do research on this area. So then you have to read the articles or studies or the books which are available on that area. You have to familiarize yourself with the existing knowledge, because if you do not do it, then otherwise people will say that you have not read that, you have not, this is nothing new, what you are telling is repetitive, already it is existing. So therefore you need to read a lot. You should not leave anything which is available on that topic or around that area. That is what it is essential. The reading is the essential component of research, most essential component. If you do not read, then you cannot be a good researcher. And in doing so, you are acknowledging the work of other scholars, which is fundamental intellectual obligation in social research, and situating your own project in relation to this work. So when you are reading, sometimes we are citing others, because we know that somebody has said something which is similar to the argument which I am making, or which is different. So we acknowledge, we give the references. We cite the work, we acknowledge. So that we can do only through reading. If we read only, and you are also learning about the research topic. You are collecting data that will also help you to build your analysis, secondary research. So sometimes also when we read other articles or other studies, come across other studies, we can know that how data can be collected, what data are available, and those kind of things. And a literature review entails reading intensively, widely, critically, and actively. As I told you, reading not that just you are reading a novel or reading a story. You have to read intensively. As a researcher, you are reading. As a researcher, you have to read intensively and very widely. You have to read not only one article, several articles, several books you have to read, and you have to read critically. Critically, you have to read, and you have to question the author. You have to question the author and try to find the loopholes and deficiencies and gaps or weaknesses of that article or that book. You have to read, and actively. When you are reading, you have to read actively, not that when you feel sleepy at that time you read. You have to read actively. It is important. The review of literature demands that you have to read intensively, widely, critically, and actively. And finally, when you are reading, you are also learning about writing. All of us, when nobody starts at the writing without reading. When you read an article, we also try to see that how it is written, how the language, the logic, the coherence, the style. We also learn from reading other articles. We are trying to study that we know the style, technique, language, structure, and many things we learn when we read seriously, actively one article or one book. When we read, we learn from them. Otherwise, we cannot learn. Some of the ideas we may be having, but how to express it. When you read something, then some kind of skill, some kind of craft we develop by reading how to write. So therefore, writing is a kind of a skill which is developed through reading only. Reading and writing, actually, they are complementary and supplementary. If you write more, it will also motivate you to read more. If you read more, it may also tempt you to write more. But writing cannot be possible without reading. Some of these, anybody you can name, he or she must have read something to write something. Sometimes somebody is writing a poem. So that may be different, something he or she may not read instantly about that area, but he must have read something. So that therefore the ideas are coming, or something somewhere he must have seen. So therefore you must remember that we have to read critically, and reading is the most important habit for writing. Then now you must remember one thing: writing is a social process. Writing is a social expression of sociological imagination. Sociological imagination means the relationship between self and society. Something we are thinking, how, whether it is correct or not, that can be done only when we interact with others, when we share with others. Because when you are writing something, you may be thinking that it is correct. But when we share with others, when you present in some seminar and conferences, when you share with your guide, or you share with your colleagues, share with your friends, then we will see that whether it is acceptable or not, or then we can correct ourselves. We can improve ourselves. So it is that, it's not that, academic writing is not like other forms of writing. Here, we must be open to criticism, debate and discussion. It's not that if we show it to somebody finds that it is not good, it is lot of problems are there. We should not feel bad about it. Through that process, everybody grows. All of us, we have grown through that process. When we write something, we share with others. Then if somebody suggests something, we try to revise it, and also we acknowledge that I have shared with this writing with somebody else, and I acknowledge his or her comments and suggestions. And critical thinking and self-reflection. Critical thinking, writing, as I told, is critical thinking. You are something is there in your mind, something is available, and you are thinking critically about somebody. Somebody writing, you are thinking critically and try to you are yourself. You are reflecting yourself in a kind of critical manner. It's not merely personal. It is profoundly social. What you are writing, it may be personal at one stage, but when you are writing for somebody, you are writing for some audience, you are writing for some groups, scientific community. Therefore, it is always social. It is not a kind of personal thing. Once you write something, once it is published, it is no longer within your domain. It is available for everybody. It's a social kind of things. So there is a communication triangle: writer, audience, subject matter in interaction. You are the writer, there is an audience, and there is a subject matter. It's a kind of triangle. So there is a kind of a triangular kind of relationship: writer, audience, and subject matter. So writer best to reader best. First, actually, when we write something, at that time we are at a kind of preliminary kind of stage. We do not want to share unless you are satisfied, unless we think that it has come to a level where we can share with others. Then we share with others and try to publish it. When we are from writer best, it goes to reader best. When it is published, it becomes reader best. After that, we cannot revise. If you want to revise, you write another article and say something and contradict your earlier writings or say something new. So therefore, reading sociological text is always way of learning. I am telling you, sociology students, if you are a psychology student, if you are a kind of anthropology student, we must read the text as a way of learning. When we are doing master's degree or MPhil, at that time we are given a broad training about various sociological or various theories available in our discipline, methodologies, all trainings are given. But these are actually common trainings for everybody. When you are coming to a particular research topic, research theme, it demands specific kind of things that you have to learn, or you have to experience, and you have to develop through interaction, through your reflection, and through your communication with others, and that is essential. As I told you, when you are writing something, before submitting it to any journal, you must share with your colleagues or your friends whom you think they are knowledgeable about this field. Not that with just like that anybody else. Those who are working on that area, in that field, or those who that they are better actually than you can share with them. So they will give you inputs and suggestions, and one should not feel shy about these things. That happens with anybody. When you are submitting a paper to a journal, if it is rejected, you will feel more bad actually. If you have shared with another person before submitting it and if it is accepted, if it goes for revision, then you feel more relaxed. If you are submitting just like that without consulting anybody, and if it is rejected, it is more embarrassing. So therefore, it is better always to consult and to share your experience or share your writing with others, whether you can do it go for editing or in substantial kind of content also revision, language revision. All these things are essential because our purpose is actually to publish something, and publication, unless it is perfect, it will not be published. Any journal you submit any article, it will go to a reviewer. If it is a standard journal, it will go to a reviewer or multiple reviewers. And if the reviewer, first of all, actually the editor himself or herself reads the article. If he finds that it is not actually worth reviewing, he will reject the article at the editor desk itself. So if he finds that something is there, then he will send it to the reviewer. So the reviewer actually, if it is a good journal, I am 100% sure the reviewer will recommend for revision. Whether it may be minor revision, it may be for major revision. So revision is a must. Any journal, if you submit article, it will come for revision. So you must be prepared for revision. And revision is not intended to, it is intended to improve your presentation or improve your quality of writing or the quality of your arguments. So it is reviewer, any good journal, you must be prepared for revision. It may come for one time revision, two times revision. So it is a kind of process. And you can if you publish in a good journal, the kind of satisfaction, the kind of happiness, pleasure you get, it's actually those who experience it, they only can know it better. But it is something very different, and you cannot get from any other source. So therefore, these are the processes which are involved in writing an article, a research article. So I think I will stop here. If you have any question, you can go for that. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Thank you, sir.
If you have any question, we can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we will open the session for the question answer. Before this, I want to invite to Sakshi.
Thank you, sir. So it was a very informative lecture for all of us, for all research scholars. And who has any query, please raise your hand, and you can open your mic and ask to the sir.
Mahavir has raised his hand. Mahavir, can you ask the question? Ashwin Kumar. Who is that? Mahavir has raised the hand.
Okay, anyone want to ask
Actually,
so
I must tell you.
You can ask directly to sir.
No, many things actually I skipped. It is not possible to present everything in 1 hour's time.
Yes.
So it requires long interaction.
Yes.
And if you have any question, then many things will be clear to others.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, can you tell your name?
Yeah. This is Sunita, research scholar from DTSS College, University of Mumbai.
Okay.
Sir, my question is, sir, as we all know that paraphrasing considered as an plagiarism, we can consider as a copy case, correct, sir? But right now, many of the research scholar, even myself, when I supposed to ask to my friends how to go ahead, they were having a simple word called as do the paraphrasing and go ahead with this. And in the time of AI, we all know that how AI have reduced our mind by thinking by any of the concept, we directly go to the AI, search it, hunt it, instead of reading the books and all. So could you please suggest us that where do we can get the good articles? Means even myself, sometimes myself want to read, so that time many of our friends, do the paraphrasing, go on AI, you will going to get an answer. So could you please enlighten few words on this?
The problem actually with the present generation people, that you have the habit of actually going to internet and check here and there, put some words and then try to draw some paragraphs or something, copy paste.
Yes,
that is not actually correct. You must, when you are doing a research on a particular topic, you can see the standard journals actually which are publishing on that area. Some articles, notable articles. When you are doing some research on gender studies, for example, on particular topic on gender violence, domestic violence, you can easily find out who are the people working on that area, and you read their articles from standard journals, and you read that article. After that, you can develop. And when you are, for example, copying something, when you write something, naturally you have to also draw ideas from somebody and also quote some lines. You have to give the references. If you are quoting the exact paragraph, then you put actually, you give actually the entire site quotation. Actually, you say that to quote somebody, then you put inverted comma or put in a kind of small font size.
Correct. So sometimes,
make it distinct.
Sometimes what is happening, Sometimes when there are the one, I may say that the person or professor, I used to read his articles, her article, Dr. Vijeta Shetty. But sometimes I find the problem in citing the things, where sometimes I used to get the proper citation, but creating a citations is also a quite complicated for nowadays, sir. So could you please give some suggestion regarding this?
No, citation. What is the problem? I don't know. If you are.
So citations, like it is mentioned here, everything given properly, but sometimes no, it is only the articles. It is used to be reflected on the screen, but the citations, proper citation, it is not mentioned. So we have to create it. So sometimes the problem was creating the citation. It is the problem.
No. If you are create citation means that if you are writing a paper for any journal, there are some standard formats available.
Okay.
So you can follow that citation.
Yes.
For example, you want to cite my article you are reading, maybe Mohanty article you are reading. So when you are citing myself, you are citing my article. You can give which you can cite my ideas. You can cite my language. Entire sentence, for example, you are drawing. Entire sentence you are taking, one paragraph you are taking. You can do that and give my reference. There is nothing wrong. And to give a reference, each journal has its own style of how to give the reference style. For example, Sociological Bulletin or Contribution to Indian Sociology, Economic and Political Weekly, they have their own citation formats. You have to follow that.
Yes, sir. They have their own format. Correct, sir.
Yes. Okay. So another, I think DB Jani has raised hand. Can you ask the question?
Yes, sir. My question is about, sir, language editing. Most of time, language play an important role in selecting our article in reputed journals. I am from Gujarat Technological University, Ahmedabad. So, how to learn and improve our English during writing, sir?
No, that is a good question actually. My point is that language is important, but is not the sole factor. If language is, there is some deficiency, if the content is rich, content is strong, then the editor will take care. We have the copy editing kind of things we can do. Language we can improve. But if the language is not communicating the meaning, then there is a problem. So in order to do that, actually, you can get it copy edited by somebody at your level, somebody who knows English. You can check with them. Or if you want to develop yourself, that actually it requires some time, practice. You keep on writing, editing, that is several drafts you have to make. The problem actually is that everybody, the younger people, they want to do it very quickly, without too much difficulty, just like that, how my article will be published. But you have to check at your level. You try at your level how to improve it through several drafts you can make. Nowadays, language also nowadays you are fortunate that now internet is there. Many softwares are available, which actually you can find out to the language problems. It will tell you that whether it is English is correct or wrong, that you can point out. But you when you are writing something for a journal, it needs some stylistic kind of presentation. It's better way of presenting the things. It's not that simply one sentence, second sentence like that. You have to put in a kind of a more economical way, more stylistic kind of manner, which can be expressed in a better manner. So that can be learned through experience. And if you are thinking that your English is not good or you are not able to improve it, you can give it to some English professor or English assistant professor or English research scholar who can make some improvement in your draft. That can be done. You can acknowledge it. Nothing wrong in it. You can acknowledge that my earlier draft actually was read by X, Y, and Z, and I acknowledge the comments and suggestions made by them. That is okay, fair enough. Nothing wrong in it. Language is not important. Language is one of the things. If language is important, there are actually better English teachers at high school level. Do you think that they can publish papers in good journals? So it's not that English is not important.
Yes.
English is one of the kind of factors. English is important. English is, to some extent it matters, but not that important kind of things. I remember I also, when we I wrote fast in the first stage, elementary kind of stage, initial stage. At that time also I had similar kind of difficulties, language problem, all these things. through experience, through writings, through actually your experience, you can improve yourself. It's not nowadays actually a lot of facilities are there. You can learn, you can improve yourself. It's not an important kind of thing. Don't worry about language things. You can improve it. So,
Okay,
any Mahavir,
sir.
you have a question? Mahavir? Mahavir has raised hand. Mahavir Sen.
Okay, so next question. Anyone?
No, there are some questions.
Yes.
Mahavir Sen has raised hand.
Mahavir Seni, you want to ask something?
I think he has. You please unmute yourself. Mahavir, please unmute yourself. I think he's not able to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem, sir. Anyone want to ask? Anyone have any question? Okay. Otherwise, we will be in the session.
Okay.
So I think. कोई ठीक है. Okay, साक्षी जी.
Before ending the session, I would like to conclude the lecture.
Sorry, somebody has asked the question. Mahavir Sen.
Uday sir, you want to say something?
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Very good evening.
Myself, Dr. Uday Bhansingh, Associate Professor, Central University, Himachal Pradesh, Dharamshala. You have given lots of. Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
I think last time when I went to Himachal, at that time I remember from your picture I correlate. I think I met you there.
In which department you came, sir?
There was a conference I came. I think before after COVID. I think yes. I remember.
No, sir. Actually, I had joined last year.
Last year, only yes. Your face looks familiar. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, oftenly I join many these type webinars and program. So you may be seen me.
Okay.
Sir, you have given very valuable information regarding writing in social sciences field. And there is no my question. I request you, when newly research scholars writing anything, either it is research paper or article, then they influenced from unethical means of writing and publication. So I request you, please, little bits throw light on ethics on research and publication.
Ethical thing, lot of ethical issues are there. I think I can tell you one thing, that when you are writing something, it must be original. We cannot actually take somebody's ideas, somebody's writings and present as our own. Sometimes the faculty also they are doing the research scholars papers, they are actually publishing on their name. That is also absolutely wrong. So ethical, research always is actually guided by ethics. We have to be ethical. Otherwise the whole credibility will be lost. And also I advise all these students or young scholars, you publish papers in good journals. Don't waste your time in publishing third-rate kind of journals, paid journals, where actually you may get a kind of immediate satisfaction that you have published a paper, but that will have no meaning, actually no gain. You will waste your energy and waste your kind of material there. It may take longer time, but you try to publish. You don't be impatient. Publication takes time. All of us, we have gone through that actually process. You have to be patient. You have to, when you are submitting a paper, you cannot expect that within 6 months, in 3 months, it will be published. And don't waste your actually energy in publishing some this the kind of journals, the paid journals. Now varieties of journals are there. There are unknown journals that you publish there, and it is actually unethical. Once you publish in some wrong place, afterwards, if you publish in good places also, you will have that kind of dark spot on your career that you have published in that journal. So don't do that. I advise you that you publish in good places. So there are actually many good journals, and if you have some good papers, definitely editors, they will run after you. They also look for good papers. I remember actually, if I find a good paper, I will run after the author how to publish it, how to make it publishable. If the paper is not good, what to do? Actually, it is a difficult thing. We cannot. We have to politely say that it is not possible. So you aim for a good journal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So nice of you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, my last question. Sorry, sir.
Okay.
Sir, it is good to publish in ISSN or else ISBN.
I don't know. These are all. I think I am critical of the whole thing. These numbers doesn't matter actually. The numbers actually do not matter. You have to publish in each academic discipline. Whether it in your discipline there are some standard journals. Every discipline has some standard journals. If you publish there, then you will be visible in the scientific community. Everybody will come to know. These ISS number, IBS number, whatever these numbers, they are all actually numbers are available.
Whenever the brochures comes, the brochures includes ISBN number, impact factor, so and so, and ISSN number,
okay. Impact factor, okay. But there are some fake journals.
So voice is cracking. Vikash sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but sir is. Sir, I think there
I
is
guess
some network issue.
Yes, yes. Sir. All right, sir.
No problem. We will wait.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Vikash ji, I think,
Yes,
sir,
yes, sir. Sir is not.
I think sir is belong from Northeast, na?
No. Sir is from the Pondicherry University.
Okay. In this time, but basically he belong to maybe Northeast.
Odisha.
Odisha,
His
Odisha,
native place
Mohanty.
is Odisha. Yes.
Yes, yes.
हाँ उड़ीसा से हैं ये
उधर वेदर भी जरा ठीक नहीं चल रहा है ना.
वो हो सकता है मे बी.
I guess connectivity issue, sir.
Yes.
Technical issue.
Hello. Sir, you are not in the session. Okay, sir. Oh, oh. So, ओके, थोड़ा नेटवर्क इशू कारण सर नहीं जुड़ पा रहे हैं. सो नो प्रॉब्लम, हम लोग देखेंगे. So, because there is a senior professor, Professor Udayban Singh sir is present here. So I request to sir, sir, please give the vote of thanks to everyone, and now we will conclude this in this session. Thank you.